This is Future Talk.
Future Talk.
Future Talk with Omnia Al Saleh and Hani Balkis.
Welcome back to Future Talk right here on Pulse 95. It is me, Hani Balkis, with Omnia Saleh, bringing you everything you need to know about what's happening in the tech world, in the UAE, and around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Sunday, September 19th. I had a very long weekend, and a very good weekend. So, Omnia, how was your weekend?
I like the optimism. It was a good week.
It was a good weekend, yes.
I had a great weekend as well, and I'm very excited to share with everyone the latest on what is happening in the tech world, in the UAE, and all around the world. Sadly, we're starting off a Sunday with online scams because one online scam has been hitting about 16 Arabic-speaking countries, and more than 130 brands have been basically attacked with this scam, and we're going to be revealing exactly who was a part of it in just a few moments.
Yes, and for our local tech news, we're talking about Abu Dhabi's SEHA and how it is integrating the UAE Pass with its mobile app and even a patient portal.
Yes, indeed. In the world of apps, lots is happening as well. We're going to be talking about Android today because a privacy-focused permission feature is going to be released from Android 11, and it's also going to be helping different older versions of the phone and the operating system feel a little bit more private and safe as well.
Yes, and also we're talking about the Apple iPhone 13 and how it is bringing portrait mode for video. As of now, all iPhones only do portrait mode when it does come to taking pictures. But now the iPhone 13 has it for video.
Yes, indeed. Lots and lots is in store right here on today's show. So make sure you keep Pulse 95 locked, and we'll be right back.
Daily digital news. Bits and bytes connect our world.
Some of our favorite brands have been attacked this weekend. We're talking about an online scam that basically affected 16 Arabic-speaking countries, and it has basically manipulated over 130 well-known brands. This fraud has actually been revealed by a Singapore-based cybersecurity company known as Group IB. Honestly, it's quite shocking how big of an attack this is.
I mean, let's be honest, Arabic-speaking countries are kind of like an untouched market for hackers.
True.
And for scam artists, because most of the time when, people are getting scammed and hacked, it's through English-speaking countries.
Yep, and the language is basically a barrier sometimes.
Yeah, and now this online scam has affected victims in 16 Arabic-speaking countries through the manipulation of more than 130 well-known brands. And the fraud scheme did use the brands in various industries, including telecoms, retail, and even entertainment. Now, investigators did find out that more than 4,300 malicious web pages were created and had been registered by an unknown group that did include more than 100 accounts. So, just based off, a fraudulent website, I'm going to go and say it was a phishing attack.
Yes, it basically was. And they actually created all these websites on a popular blogging service that is known as Blogspot. So these scammers actually used the good old tried and tested ways to get the scam going. So they were offering free gifts from different popular brands, lottery games that were basically recommended, aka recommended. They were never recommended, but they were recommended according to their emails by celebrities. There were even some fake job offers from the government. So this just goes to show how far they went. And the threat actors were using such lures to basically try and steal our personal information or even just attract traffic to these websites. So you didn't even have to go through, just you clicking the link was basically making you more susceptible to this attack.
Yes, because the way the internet works, ladies and gentlemen, is as soon as, for example, Hani clicks on website ABC, now website ABC has my IP address and knows which country I'm viewing the website. Now, the Arabic-speaking countries in the Middle East were affected by the scam. Did include Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Kuwait, Jordan, Sudan, Morocco, Egypt, Bahrain, Iraq, Yemen, Palestine, Algeria, Lebanon, Qatar, Syria, and even Oman. And it also did affect some English-speaking users in Turkey and Nigeria. And just like Omnia mentioned, the criminals stole personal information such as full names, phone numbers, home addresses, education details, and even the victim's place of work. And that where Omnia was saying that job offers came into, play, because if you're still working and a job wants to recruit you, it will say, what is your previous workplace? And you'll say it. So, the victims were then asked to share the link. And you know that, Omnia, how sometimes you'll be on, for example, Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, and just a random account will be sharing websites links or WhatsApp links.
Or even sometimes it's your family members and you find out that their accounts were hacked.
Yeah, I remember there was a scam for a local airline, Omnia.
Yeah.
And it was saying if X amount of people click the link, you then can get air miles or something like that. And a lot of close friends were sending it to me. And one guy also created a huge group. He didn't actually create it, but the
scammer,
hack created a huge group and it sent it to over 1,000 of his contacts. And I was included in that group. And then he said, everyone leave the group. My WhatsApp is hacked.
Basically. And a lot of the times this happens also on your very favorite social media accounts, Facebook, Instagram, you name it. Sometimes you'll receive weird messages from friends and family about you clicking a link or opening a certain website so that you can go ahead and help them win or you yourself win. And a lot of the times this is actually the scammers speaking and not you. So this scam in specific, they were asking them to send the links of where they live, more details through the WhatsApp account, and that was actually causing the scammers to basically widen the pool of victims that they would get, because then they had access to all of your WhatsApp contacts as well. So after the victim sent a number of messages to different people that were impacted, they were also basically even reaching out to contacts of those contacts, and that's how they were able to
becomes like a big chain reaction. And ladies and gentlemen, if you were affected, I still haven't been affected by this hack or scam per se. I haven't got any emails or anything related to that. And plus, if I'm not expecting an important email, I'll never open it regardless. So,
and that's basically what we've heard from a lot of cybersecurity experts, to always be cautious whenever you receive links that will lead you to a certain website of a specific company or an agency or from a celebrity. And if you get any email from a group named Group IB, just know that this is the group behind this big scam, and don't go ahead and give out any details, especially any confidential information, as well as your bank details. Let us know, have you seen
this hack?
Yeah, have you received any
or anyone you know of?
Yeah, any exciting giveaways, gifts, like Hani said, free airline tickets? You never know.
You know the old saying, right? If it's too good to be true, then it's a scam.
It is.
Right? I implement this on everything. If it's easy, then there's a if, but, or why in that scenario. Let us know your guys' thoughts. 4215 or on our Instagram at Pulse95 Radio.
Daily digital news. Bits and bytes connect our world.
Ladies and gentlemen, Abu Dhabi's SEHA has integrated the UAE Pass with its mobile app and patient portal. And what does that mean? That means that patients do not have to create a separate SEHA credentials. Now, Abu Dhabi have announced the integration of the UAE Pass with its mobile app and patient portal as part of the medical network's continuous efforts to elevate the patient journey and ensure seamless access across SEHA platforms and services. Now, again, we're looking at how technology and applications are becoming, a priority when it does come to accessing government, services, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yes, indeed. What we've seen actually with the UAE Pass, it has basically digitized all of the government services. So whether you want to renew your license, whether you want to do or renew your car registration, you name it, it's all been very easy to access through the UAE Pass app. And now you can even access all of your details in hospitals for COVID-19 results through the SEHA app by it being linked to the UAE app. So it will allow you to just use your UAE Pass account, login details to register, or even just log in directly onto your SEHA mobile app and patient portal without having to create a separate SEHA account and have your own credentials on that app. And we all know how annoying it is to have to memorize different usernames and different passwords for every single website.
Yeah, I mean, I get lost a lot of the times when, different accounts or, for example, let's say,
Different usernames.
John
and
Kerry
passwords.
1, right, for Instagram, and then
Yeah.
something else. Different numbers, different names,
Yep.
and sometimes I'll switch up the passwords because some passwords require a capital, some require a lowercase,
Or a special symbol.
numbers, etc. But again, I mean, having something to be integrated across all platforms that we use on a daily basis. I mean, Abu Dhabi residents did use the Husn app weekly, if not daily, to check on their COVID-19 status, entering and exiting Abu Dhabi. But thankfully, they don't have to go through that anymore
it's a
because.
we forgot. It's a fantastic day for people who want to go to Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of friends who work in Abu Dhabi, but they're based right here in Sharjah. And, they said, we're not going until it's past 12.
True.
We're going to go as soon as, they remove the borders. They don't have to do the PCR anymore. I mean, it's great. And we have the Expo coming up. So a lot of, movement is going to be happening right here in the UAE. So I'm really excited to see what Expo has in store for the UAE. So far, a lot of people, Omnia, by the way, foreigners are coming in and they're saying record number of, hotel reservations.
Wow.
It is full everywhere. There's a lot of traffic and we still got a couple of weeks left to go. So people are getting ready. The UAE is getting ready. And a way of them getting ready is integrating all these apps together. So even if a foreigner does come and needs to get their COVID-19 PCR test done, they will do it seamlessly and easily. And Omnia, technology is here to make our lives easier. And the Abu Dhabi government is making our lives easier with this integration.
Absolutely. And the SEHA app is basically an app used by anyone, no matter which emirate you're in, to book your COVID-19 test at any of the facilities in SEHA all around the UAE. You have to use the app to be able to book your appointment and pay online. So having it be all integrated so seamlessly is going to make this process become a lot easier. Patients whose medical details are already available on SEHA's electronic medical record, this is more specifically catered towards those who live in Abu Dhabi. They can now just basically use their UAE Pass credentials that is based on their Emirates ID and be able to just use the different features that app offers very seamlessly.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're taking a short break, but when we come back, we got a lot in store for you guys.
Check this out. Check this out. Oh, 95.
A group of 4 people landed in Hani's hometown.
You say it so casually.
Yeah.
4
civilians.
Like 4 normal people, they just decided to drop down in Florida.
Yep, in the beach and the good old refreshing water.
Kind of miss the Miami weather, but I think you need to kind of tell them
a little bit more details.
Who are these 4 people, Why are they so important to us?
They're a very interesting mix of 4 people. Let's just say that. A
homeless guy.
Homeless guy. A high school dropout, not homeless. A high school dropout who turned into basically a billionaire.
Who we didn't know was a billionaire.
Yep, we did not know.
Yeah.
A cancer survivor, a medical professional, and I'm trying to remember who was
Professor.
the last one. Yep, she was a professor as well. So the SpaceX Inspiration 4 crew, they've been making headlines everywhere because they're basically the first all-civilian team to leave planet Earth. They went to the International Space Station, and that mission was led by the billionaire and the high school dropout, Jared Isaacman, who was able to return back to Earth safely with the rest of the civilians after 3 days in orbit. And they actually splashed down off the coast of Florida after that 3-day flight.
Yes, now the heat generated from the atmospheric friction during the free fall to Earth sent temperatures on the outside of the capsule that they were in to more than 1,900 Celsius. Can you imagine that?
I can't imagine how hot that is.
That is like 12 p.m. here.
Oh my God.
Right? Now, but almost exactly 72 hours since it did blast into orbit on the most ambitious space tourism mission to date, the Dragon capsule did pass through the atmosphere and then landed in the Atlantic under a 4-parachute canopy. Now, Inspiration 4, we do know, made history as the first space mission to take place without any professional astronauts on board. And that is where Inspiration 4 comes from. We just gave you a brief about the 4 civilians or 4 people who went to space. They have no prior space experience. Most of the time, when astronauts do go to space or they're being prepped to become astronauts, they are, in the Air Force, in the military, researchers, doctors, scientists, etc. But these are just 4 people who just, were lucky or, have a lot of cash in their bank accounts for them to become important.
They got a crash course in what it is like to become an astronaut in remarkable timing. And all of the 4 civilians are basically they're setting the path for everyone to get to dream about going to space one day. A lot of pictures were shared all over social media that was showing the 4 private astronauts enjoying all the spectacular views of planet Earth from an altitude that is higher than the International Space Station or even any telescope that we have seen that could potentially give you a view of planet Earth. What's interesting about this story is the fact that all of them were working together. They were out there in outer space. Very minimal knowledge. I mean, they got all the training that they needed, but at the end of the day, they weren't immersed in this field long enough. But they were able to make it back to Earth safely, and they landed in Florida.
Yeah, I mean, within 3 hours of just taking off from the Kennedy Space Center, they launched Pad 39A, which is the exact launch pad where NASA astronauts Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins began their voyage to the moon more than 50 years ago. So they're following on the footsteps of the first people or the first humans to land on the moon. Let us know your guys' thoughts. 4215 do a slot or on our Instagram at Pulse95 Radio. Since the mission was successful, do you guys believe that more normal people per se will be going to space and coming back down? I believe that this is just the beginning, and we're going to see a lot more civilians going to space and maybe one day to the moon. We're taking a short break, but when we come back,
we're talking all about the new iOS. I keep saying iOS. The new Android 11 update that is going to be coming in handy for all those who love to focus on their privacy.
Pulse 95.
Apps all around.
What's worth a click and download?
ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about privacy today and how a privacy-focused permission feature from Android 11 is soon to come to older phones as well. Now, Android 11's auto-resetting permissions, where the operating system will actually restrict an app's permission to access sensitive phone features, like, for example, its storage or even cameras, if it hasn't been open for several months, are coming to older devices. And Google has just announced this, believe it or not. And the feature did originally launch with Android 11 just last year, but soon it will be available on any phones running Android 6 and above with Google Play services, which Google says should cover over billions of Android phones released since 2015.
I feel like we've had this feature for quite some time with iOS, especially with the latest launch, the iOS 15. But this feature is basically designed to help all Android users protect their privacy by preventing any older applications that may have been, installed on the phone for so long now. These apps will no longer have, unfiltered access to your photos, to your storage, to basically any of your information on the phone. So you'll be happy that Instagram may not have full access to your camera roll anymore unless you give it that access. There's also a good chance that if you don't go ahead and install that update, your phone apps may be restricted to certain access. So you do have to go ahead and install this Android feature or Android update as soon as possible, because this security feature is designed to help you reset the permissions of what applications can access and what can they not access over time.
Now, according to Google, the feature will be automatically enabled on devices with Google Play services that are running Android 6.0 or an API level 23 or even higher. However, it does need to be enabled manually for apps that aren't targeting Android 11, and apps might actually ask users to disable the privacy feature if they're regularly required to work in the background without you opening them. Now, also according to Google, the feature will begin to roll out in December on devices running Android 6 to Android 10 with Google Play services, before reaching all such devices in the first quarter of next year. So Google does look like it's trying to cater to the people with older devices, as hey, Androids are for the long term, not for the short term per se, like how iPhones need to be, renewed or rebought every 2 to 3 years.
Yes, indeed. Let us know what are your thoughts, and if you have an Android phone, are you going to go ahead and download the Android 11 update? Coming up on Future Talk, we're talking all about portrait mode and how you can get that picture perfect video very soon by using the portrait mode on your iPhone.
Gadget of the day.
New tech you might want to play with.
New tech you might want to play with, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about the Apple iPhone 13. Now, it has been causing a lot of commotion around the interwebs ever since, Apple event was on September 14th, around 5 days ago. And, a lot of people were saying, hey, we don't like it. Hey, we like it. I know a couple of people personally who have pre-ordered their iPhones already. But today's news, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about how the iPhone 13 is bringing portrait mode for video. Now, portrait mode is originally only for pictures, and it would give you that studio type of feel. You could play with the
blur effect.
Yeah, you could play with the lightning, but now we will see that with the iPhone 13 when it does come to video.
Yes, indeed. Now, the portrait mode is one of the biggest highlights of owning any of the advanced iPhones that Apple has come up with. It creates that depth of field effect that a lot of people used to previously only get from using professional cameras, those big bulky cameras, and now this feature is in the palm of your hands through the iPhone. So the new cinematic mode is actually coming to our videos as well, and I have no doubt that this is going to make a lot of people a lot more excited about taking videos of their day-to-day activities. So what's interesting about this is that, according to Tim Cook, this is going to be the only smartphone that lets you edit this effect after shooting. So not only will you get the chance to film with the portrait mode, but you can even edit the effect after you're done of taking the video.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, especially with the iPhone, they buy the iPhone because they love it for photography, for videography. And even I remember back in 2016, 2015, a lot of people on Instagram used to put in their bios or their, they used to write iPhoneography.
Oh,
right.
That's a new one.
Yeah, so that all of their pictures were taken by an iPhone, and it was kind of, like a a scheme that,
it's
hey,
like a badge of honor.
It's a badge of honor, exactly, Omnia, that you worded it perfectly. So with the iPhone 13 Pro, right, it is mostly used for professional photographers, people who care a lot about the quality of their cameras. And now, not a lot of the time, iPhones were focused on video. Most of the time it was photo. But now we're looking at how the iPhone will step up to the plate and say, hey, now we have even better quality videos. And we do know already optimization when it does come to iPhones and the iOS in general on specific social media apps is already great. I mean, we can put 4K HD on Instagram from an iPhone, and if you're really tech savvy, you can actually play with the settings of your camera in the settings on the phone itself and make it 60 FPS. You can make it, 4K. Obviously, you're going to be using a lot of memory.
Yep, that's what I was going to talk about.
You're getting the perfect quality. And sometimes I look at pictures, I'm saying, the quality is better than my own eyes.
Exactly. And that's basically something that in the past we were only able to achieve with professional cameras. Having that raw image where the quality is just flawless. But to be able to do that with the iPhone, whether it's taking videos in portrait mode or even photos in portrait mode, just like you mentioned, Hani, it takes up a lot of memory. And that's probably part of the reason why Apple has also been focusing a lot on maximizing storage. So one of the biggest storage units that you can get in an iPhone is actually 1 terabyte.
Yes, and my dad's like, why? Who would need 1 terabyte? I mean, for you not to offload at least some, pictures and videos, is a little bit crazy, but some people, it does cater to their wants and needs.
I feel like content creators may actually like that, especially if a content creator does not want to buy a camera, let's say, so they invest in it instead of buying a 20K camera.
I mean, again, for those, who do want to, buy a 1 terabyte iPhone, let us know why. We do want to know why. A lot of people are saying it's for the content creators, just like Umnia. Some people say that, they download a lot. I don't know. I personally don't know. But I want to know your guys' thoughts. 4215, do it slot, or on our Instagram at Pulse95 Radio. Why do you need a 1 terabyte iPhone or memory on any type of phone? But ladies and gentlemen, this does conclude Future Talk for today.
Yes, indeed. We hope you enjoyed this show just as much as we did. You can catch us again tomorrow, same time, same place, from 2 to 3 p.m. Until then, we've got a lot of shows lined up for you on Pulse 95. Coming up is Afternoon Karak with Aisha Al-Mazmi, bringing you everything that is trending in pop culture, followed up by Yalla Home, which will keep you company on your drive back home.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place, only here on Pulse
95.
If you liked this episode of Future Talk, drop a like and subscribe.
Pulse 95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.